We are so back. Brandon Royval, Manel Kape in the stinky Apex facility. I'm still riding high off 323. You know, Petr Yan domination, Joshua Van manifesting the flyweight title, all predicted here on this channel. But we're going to speedrun this one because I have bigger projects in the works for this 6-week break with no UFC, so let's get right into this one. Brandon Royval, Manel Kape. These are pretty elite level flyweights. Brandon Royval may not be the jiu-jitsu wizard that Pantoja is, you know, finding his way to the back and just dominating guys in grappling. But Brandon Royval is a crafty flyweight. 8 losses ain't the best look. My biggest problem with him is the lack of striking power. Brandon Royval only, I believe, 3 or 4 KOs on the entire record. You know, he's a bit pillow-fisted, which is going to be a problem in this matchup. You kind of need to get respect in the striking realm against Manel Kape, or else it's going to be problems. It really is going to be problems, but Brandon Royval is a very good flyweight veteran. You know, gave Josh Van probably his toughest fight, other than Charles Johnson, who Brandon Royval has a win over in the LFA. So there you go. Brandon Royval, the volume's great, the cardio's great. He doesn't have power in his style. I don't even think it's a physicality thing. It's just Brandon Royval is a bit of a pillow-fisted volume merchant. It is what it is with him. Every other part of his game is pretty complete, though. I don't want to disparage him too much. He could get this win because Manel Kape is one of the most unreliable flyweights in UFC history. I'm just going to call it what it is. Cancelled fights galore. Some his fault, some not his fault. Some are opponents pulling out against him. But Manel Kape is emotional, unpredictable. I like Raw Dog, but I don't think this fight goes well for him. Manel Kape is not a guy that you're going to do a little volume thing with. He'll either be all the way out at range and you're not going to be able to hit him and he'll stall it up, or he'll be crashing in and blitzing in with like serious KO power for a flyweight. So I think Brandon Royval eats a bunch of damage here. It's a sad pick, but I'm going to go with Manel Kape. I don't like to pick him because, you know, the cheating, we have the constant pullouts. Very, very unreliable flyweight, whereas Brandon Royval, like, is reliable. A guy who does show up and have close fights with everybody. But, you know, Brandon Royval has had his shots at the title. He's had a crack at Pantoja a couple times. He's had a crack at Brandon Moreno. It doesn't feel good to pick him here. Manel Kape, finally healthy, I want to assume, finally ready to like actually take a big fight at the end of the year. Seems like it's been forever since he's been in the cage. Last time we saw him was him raking the eyes of Asu Amabayev, so it's been a while. It really has been a while for him. I think it's time he actually comes in and gets a win and has a good 2026. We'll see. And he's pretty big, he's pretty physical, all things considered. Manel Kape used to struggle to make weight, so he is packing that power. He does cheat in his fights, so we'll see. We'll see. If this gets extended, though, I think his chances of winning slowly slip away. Like, if we get into the 4th and 5th round, maybe Manel Kape has, you know, pulled some dirty shit. He has a point deduction against him. This one could get interesting if Manel Kape fucks it up, because Brandon Royval, he is a vet. He's not going to go away easy. You are probably going to have to finish Royval somehow to, like, actually get a convincing win against him. Split decision win over Tatsuro Taira, and we see all the chaos that Tatsuro Taira is causing, so. Am I picking the most unreliable flyweight to carry forward my win streak of main events into 2026? Yes, I am. Nothing against Brandon Royval, it's just he's been taking damage, you know. I feel like he has not enough punch power in this matchup. That's what it's going to come down to. He's going to be uncomfortable on the feet here with Manel Kape, who is fast twitch and has way more striking experience than him. So it's grapple or bust in this matchup for Brandon Royval, I think. Now that I've said that, he's probably going to come out and like flying knee Manel Kape, have a big raw dog moment. I don't buy it. We're going to go Manel Kape in the matchup here. What do you guys think? Actually, a very fun co-main event here. CHIKADZE, Kevin Vallejos. I didn't think I needed in my life. Look, both strikers, this one's going to be fun. CHIKADZE is a long-rangey kickboxer, way better kick game than Kevin Vallejos, but Vallejos, man, short, stocky, amazing boxing. Amazing boxing out of Argentina. These guys really got good polished hands. So this will be a good one because CHIKADZE is the guy with sort of the veteranship, the more experience. You know, he's had main events and fought high talent like Arnold Allen, where Kevin Vallejos hasn't really done that yet. The best fighter he's fought is probably Gene Silva. I rate his loss to Gene Silva. So if he didn't run into him, he's actually like looking like 16-0. So good looks from him. He is a good featherweight prospect. And I've gone through the record of CHIKADZE to find like his last decent win. It's interesting. It's sort of like an old and aged Edson Barboza, so I don't know. It's really hard to gauge where CHIKADZE's career is at because the Arnold Allen fight was kind of low-key close. I know people love Arnold Allen, so they just say he wins every fight, but CHIKADZE had moments there. He really did. Actually hurt Arnold Allen in some moments, but Kevin Vallejos is very, very unique because he is a little undersized for featherweight, but it's not like CHIKADZE is going to come out and expose that. He'll probably just want to kick at Kevin Vallejos and keep him at bay. But when the space gets closed, it's going to be problems for Giga. It really is. He's sort of like a ball the wool string bean. You know, CHIKADZE's like 39, 38 years old, guys. He's not like a physical beast in there that's going to be able to like really chuck around Kevin Vallejos. He'll be on the back foot. He'll be sprinting in there, trying to keep range and avoid Kevin Vallejos for the whole fight, who's going to be making reads, who's going to be crashing forward and slipping. And we've seen Vallejos wrestle, so like if CHIKADZE is having a lot of success with his kicks at range to keep Vallejos away, I think Vallejos will just snatch up a kick and suck it in and just take down CHIKADZE. So I just see more options for Vallejos. He's way younger, way more fresh. CHIKADZE had that Calvin Kattar brawl and took like a career's worth of damage at 36 years old, at 35 years old. That's horrible. Kevin Vallejos hasn't had that yet, so is he lacking some experience? Yes, but there's just way too many things on his side here for me not to pick him. I like the style matchup for him. He's younger, more physical, less damage prone. We're going to go Kevin Vallejos. Even though he will look like a midge in this matchup against CHIKADZE, I'm going to side with it. Cesar Almeida versus Cezary OLEKSIEJCZUK, the brother of Michal Husar. I'm going to go with Almeida just because of his kickboxing background. I really fuck with the dude. You should not be fucking with him on the feet in MMA in those small gloves because he's way too comfortable. You saw that in the Abdul Razak Al Hassan fight. Razak Al Hassan was bombing him out, and then all of a sudden, Almeida just comes back with a nasty comeback KO because he's way too comfortable on the feet. You can't be even throwing combos against him because he'll slip one through on you and knock you out. Serious power, serious striker IQ from Almeida. And look, Cezary OLEKSIEJCZUK, he's a striker like his brother. And however, they are Fighting Nerds affiliated now, so this could shake things up. I'm still going to side with Cesar Almeida because, for whatever reason, their opponents forget that it's MMA and that they can grapple and wrestle and just feel the need to like get settled in and feel it out. And you know, they take too many chances on the feet, and you cannot do that with Almeida. We saw that with Abdul Razak Al Hassan. You just get KO'd. So we're going to side with him. Almeida's making adjustments. He's going to improve super fast. He trains with Pereira. He trains with Strickland. All these like elite level championship names are going to help Almeida out. That's sort of the respect they show these kickboxing guys from Glory and all this stuff. They get good ass training, and like the elite minds of MMA help them out. So I think there's actually... I know Cezary has way more professional fights, but I'm actually going to side with Cesar Almeida because I think he's more ready for this moment. Simple as menace on the feet. Absolute fucking menace. We'll see if Cezary is what he says he is. We'll see if he's the better OLEKSIEJCZUK brother. Now this one is going to scar my heart. Two of my favorite featherweights, two of my favorite fighters, period. MC versus MC. Malikwisel Costa, Morgan Charriere. This one hurts, man. This one really hurts. Look at the experience on both these guys. They're amazing. Pure strikers, pure kickboxers, but different styles. Okay, Malikwisel Costa in this matchup is going to be more patient, more intelligent, and has nasty front chokes. Took out Andre Fili, gave Christian Rodriguez problems. Is he a little bit hittable and always gets backed up to the cage? Yes, that is probably the one weakness of Malikwisel Costa that I don't like. You saw Steve Garcia really abuse that, you know, push him back to the cage and bomb him out. So I don't know, this one's going to be close. Morgan Charriere, on the other hand, is shorter, stockier, but more explosive. Morgan Charriere is also a great kickboxer. Took out Nate Landwehr, but he's one of the more slow featherweights on the roster. Really likes a slow-paced fight, kickboxing fight. Likes to make his reads, figure out his opponent. He doesn't like a fast pace. I'm going to side with my boy, the Dalmatian, Malikwisel Costa, because I think he is just a bit higher fight IQ. Just a little bit higher. Trains with Joe Anderson Brito. They've got like a nice little UFC brotherhood going on there. And I see evolution. Win over Andre Fili, win over Christian Rodriguez. He's on his way up. Morgan Charriere, you can argue, has had the steeper competition. Fought Nathaniel Wood. That's great experience to get early on, but I don't know. His career seems a little bit rushed. Like, Morgan Charriere, I think, is 29, and look at all the damn pro fights he has. It's actually ridiculous, but 11 losses we're talking about. And I think all of those are decisions, and that just goes to show Morgan Charriere is slow. He doesn't always find the knockout and the kill shot. And then he just loses the decision because he doesn't really throw combinations. You saw against the Nate Landwehr fight, though, he realized that it was slipping away from him, and absolutely just threw caution to the wind, and I loved that, and that's probably my favorite win of his, is because he's making adjustments. So he is improving. Morgan Charriere is improving. It's just, is it good enough to beat MC, the Dalmatian, Malik Costa? Probably the weirdest, most creative, unique-looking motherfucker in the UFC. Dyed hair. Oh, this one hurts. This one hurts. This is like a fight. You know when you have your two favorites go up against each other? It's a tough one. It's a real tough one to pick. It's hard not to get the heart involved. Who do I think takes the career more seriously? I don't know. I think it's Malik Costa. Both of them have had losses. Morgan Charriere hasn't been finished in the UFC, where Malik Costa has. I've just seen Morgan Charriere lose too many times. I really had high confidence that he would go out and knock out Chepe Mariscal, and it never happened. It just never happened. He's not really the finisher like that I thought he once was. I thought Charriere was just going to come out and knock out everybody, but he's slow, he's predictable, doesn't string together the best combinations. Malik Costa is very, very intelligent. I've seen him fight like so many different matchups now, and he's impressed me. Yes, he lost to Steve Garcia. Who doesn't? Who doesn't lose to Steve Garcia at this point? So Malik Costa gets a pass there. I think Morgan Charriere would lose to Steve Garcia as well, so I don't want to hold that against him. I'm going to side Malik Costa, but this fight can go either way. I don't care who wins this fight. I love both these guys. These are my favorite featherweights that are unranked. We're going to side with Costa. Lemos versus Robertson. Jillian Robertson has put together a nasty win streak. 16 wins, 8 losses. Is sadly like a really, really elite level women's MMA record. She's making massive improvements. She used to be undersized. She used to have no muscle, and she caught losses to Macy Barber where she just couldn't get her down and then got pinned up against the cage and TKO'd because she used to be a wimp. She used to have no striking and no muscle. Jillian Robertson, she was sub or bust. Now her physicality's coming along. She's really hitting like 30. And 30 as like an MMA fighter, she started so young that she's now become like an actual like crafty female vet. Amanda Lemos is also one of my favorites, but she is a power merchant. You have to admit, she's a complete power merchant. It's saved her on multiple occasions. One thing that does worry me here is Amanda Lemos's win over Mackenzie Dern, who's now champion, folks. Just stayed light on her feet and evaded Mackenzie Dern very well and didn't get subbed. So who knows? Maybe Amanda Lemos can come out and just circle Jillian Robertson, make her miss, avoid all the engagements. But then I don't think she'll land her power. Like Amanda Lemos, to have any success in a fight, she kind of has to come forward and look for a bomb. That's always been how she strikes. And you can abuse that as a grappler. It's so easy to abuse that as like a capable wrestler. You can just always trust Jillian Robertson to like progress through the positions on the ground, get to a bitch's back and like choke them out. So yeah, it's tough. I'm not going to trust Amanda Lemos to just KO Jillian Robertson because that's how I think she wins. Or just runs away from Jillian Robertson because she can't grapple. So we're going to side with Jillian Robertson. She's actually kind of a crafty female vet who's been here for like a decade, it seems. So, yeah, we're going to roll with it. 16-8 is like a good women's record. So, yeah, Lemos is regressing. I love her, but it's Jillian Robertson's time. Neil motherfucking Magny versus Yaroslov Amosov. I still hate Neil Magny. I just can't bring myself to pick him after he snubbed me in real life. Tried to get a photo with dude. Yeah, I'm salty. The bridge is burned. It's never getting rebuilt, Neil Magny. Yaroslav Amosov got KO'd by Jason Jackson, but other than that, a perfect career. Smoking everybody through Bellator. He's fucking nasty with it, man. He's a beast of a Ukrainian. We know the Ukrainians can fight. Is he going to come in and beat Neil Magny? He just fought Curtis Millender, who's also big, black, and lanky. So I say just rinse and repeat the game plan, and it might just work on Neil Magny, who, look, is long, lanky, and physical, and like actually has a good clinch game, and has good ground and pound. But I just refuse to believe Neil Magny is a capable finisher in this spot because, look, D-Rod and Jake Matthews, like, I'm losing all belief in like Neil Magny's recent resume. I don't buy it. Like, saved by the bell against Jake Matthews in a sub attempt, and then submits him in round 3 after Matthews has a big adrenaline dump. So like, I don't rate Neil Magny's last wins. So I'm going to go with Amosov, man, like, just because of the polished, like, he almost has as many wins as Neil Magny, and not those 14 fucking losses that Neil Magny has, like, just more proven skill set. I know Magny's the one with, like, the UFC resume, and, like, we've seen Bellator fighters come over and just look like shit, so I don't know, man. I just feel Amosov's going to get the win. He's way too physical for Magny. The game plan's written on how to take out Magny. Just beat up the legs, push him back, da-da-da. Look for a finish, actually. Like, I feel like Neil Magny's recent opponents just haven't prioritized a finish. Even Mike Malott didn't even prioritize a finish. He seemed like he just wanted to get the rounds in and get the time in against like a tenured vet. So Amosov, please don't do that. Please just dominate Neil Magny. Look for a finish on the ground, please. Stephen Asplund versus Sean SHARAF. Look, Stephen Asplund has a lot of blubber on him, but underneath that, this dude's, like, I can see beneath the blubber, Stephen Asplund is like a physical beast. Like, the dude's big, he's young, he's 27. Give me a young heavyweight that's shaven off the weight. He's going to come in and fuck this dude Sean SHARAF up, who fights like once every 2 years, not serious about the career, 4-1. Meanwhile, Stephen Asplund's been putting in the work. He's been grinding. He's more active. I just like that in young upcoming fighters. The activity. Bank on yourself. Trust in your skill set. Go, go, go. Why not? If you're not taking big damage from like crazy wars, especially at heavyweight, just go, go, go. That's what Stephen Asplund is doing. I respect that. Nasty win on Contender Series. Sean SHARAF, I don't know if dude's got injuries or he's just in the gym grinding, but dude doesn't fight. He doesn't fight, okay? He fights once every like 2 years. I don't trust it at all. Stephen Asplund's bigger, younger, actually looks like kind of a physical beast underneath a bit of the skin he's got. So we're going to go Stephen Asplund. I liked his win on the Contender Series. It was brutal. And I think he's honestly going to be improving faster. Two baddies on this card. We got Luana Santos, Melissa CRODEN. Look, Luana Santos is way too hot to be a UFC fighter. Melissa CRODEN, I told you guys, would come in as a short notice, like Canadian debut and just smoke Lisboa. We predicted that. I think we called TKO as well. Melissa CRODEN doesn't fuck around. It's all gas, no breaks from her. She walks through punishment. She is there to break you. She is there to drain your cardio, actually inflict damage. Is Melissa CRODEN sloppy at times, and was she sort of gassing herself out against Lisboa, pushing that crazy pace? Yes. So, like, late rounds, Luana Santos sub is sort of on the table here, but it's the Apex. It's a small cage. Give me CRODEN to just walk Santos down, who struggled on the feet against Casey O'Neill. That is a red flag. Luana Santos does her best work in the grapple, in the BJJ engagement. She's got subs, and she's a pretty physical young chick, but Melissa CRODEN, a bit more woman in this matchup, okay? She's going to come in. Like I said, Luana Santos can make money other ways. She's way too hot to be in the UFC. Give me CRODEN to just... Look, she's being active as well. She just fought like a month ago, maybe 2 months ago. She's already back to fuck another bitch up. So give me Melissa CRODEN. Canadian women always deliver. CRODEN's not too bad looking herself. Jamie Lynn Horth, on the other hand, is exactly where she belongs in the UFC. Teresa BLEDA is good, though. She's good. She hasn't fought in 2 years. So sign of caution. She could come in and look like a completely different fighter. I think she's been sidelined with injury herself. Jamie Lynn Horth, I don't see enough evolution. She's quite old. She's only 8-2. She's beat really no one. She's beat some OnlyFans models, and Teresa BLEDA ain't that, okay? Teresa BLEDA's only loss of her career is getting spinning back kicked in the throat by Natalia Silva. Like, if we can forgive any loss ever, we're gonna forgive that one. Yeah, brutal TKO. Got kicked in the neck and put out that way. And she's been gone for 2 years, so that clearly left some damage on her. But she's back. She's back, and she fights pretty well. She's a capable striker from the EU, so we're gonna side with Teresa BLEDA. Jamie Lynn Horth does have a good frame. She just doesn't pack the power with that frame, so like she's gonna get out wrestled. She's a bit slow. Give me Teresa BLEDA. I rate her only loss of getting throat kicked by Natalia Silva more than anything Jamie Lynn Horth has done. So BLEDA all day. Kennedy NZECHUKWU, Marcus BUCHECHA. I'm done with Kennedy NZECHUKWU. Seems to be way too easily submitted. We saw that with the Walter Walker heel hook, and even before that, you can get his back, you can take him down if you actually try. It's just he's had success in these striking matchups because of his crazy, like, John Jones-esque ape index. Marcus BUCHECHA, a bit too green, a bit too young and dumb, and shot 11 takedowns on Martin Buday. They were way too telegraphed. That was the problem with him, so I think he's going to find that Kennedy NZECHUKWU is a lot easier to manipulate and haul around and, knock out the balance of than a big blobby Martin Buday. So give me Marcus BUCHECHA. I trashed him in the debut, but I know to pick him here because it's an easier matchup, straight up. He had a pretty, in hindsight, steep debut against Martin Buday, who is chunky, who was like 8-1 in the UFC, even though they didn't care about him at all and buried him on the prelims. Give me Marcus Buchecha to sneak one over on Kennedy NZECHUKWU. Ground and pound or a cheeky sub or a boring blobster decision. I think sub's likely, though. I think Kennedy NZECHUKWU really gives that shit up, has no idea what BJJ is. Short notice edition that I really fuck with on this card. King Green versus Lance Gibson Jr. Look at that experience diff. I'm still going to go with Lance Gibson Jr. Look, he's a pretty proven Bellator guy. Yes, I know we have another Bellator name sneaking into the UFC here at the end of the year. But Lance Gibson Jr., if you've seen him on interviews or if you've even seen him in the cage, is just a less perma-baked version of Bobby Green. Let's be real, like the way he articulates things, the way he fights, he's just smarter, more cerebral. Bobby Green, or sorry, my bad, King Green, forgive me, definitely has like a better boxing skill set, but Lance Gibson Jr., like, you can just avoid that. Like, if you don't be Nazrat Hakparast or like Fiziev and just walk into Bobby Green's boxing, I did it again, King Green, who's completely fucking perma-baked. He's just dying to go be a podcaster, so I'm kind of done with King Green, in all honesty. Lance Gibson Jr. coming in here on short notice, very, very short notice. That shows to me he's delusional and he thinks he can win it. So yeah, 17 losses on Green's record. The KO losses he's absorbed. I just trust him less and less. And Lance Gibson Jr. is going to just be improving. He's less damaged. He's younger. So gimme the non-perma-baked guy in the matchup. And Joe Anderson Brito versus Isaac Thompson. This is this really Hydrogen Bomb versus Coughing Baby? Is this what we think it is? Because, look, Brito is a proven powerhouse, destroyed the leg of Jack Shore with a couple of leg kicks. Isaac Thompson sort of looks soy boyish. I know he comes from Team Alpha Male, so he probably has like a pretty well-rounded game and like okay fight IQ, but I think they're literally just sending this kid to his death. Like, they're just like, I don't know, maybe Faber is just like being a bit too much of a meathead and being like, oh yeah, take this opportunity, you can beat this guy, like he's a Brazilian that can't wrestle. I don't know, I think you're sort of sending this kid to his death here. Isaac Thompson is like regional level in my opinion. I've seen a few of his fights on the regional scene. Nothing comes close to Joe Anderson Brito's punch power. He's just a scary fucking fight to take. He really is. You saw Pat Sabatini literally out-grapple Brito for the whole 15 minutes because he knows he's dead on the feet for at least 10 seconds with Brito. So, yeah, man. I'm going to go with Brito and by finish. He's not a guy you just step in on short notice and take on. I worry for the health of Isaac Thompson in this matchup. He just seems too young. He just seems too young to like deal with a man that Brito is. Brito is a mean, nasty motherfucker with UFC experience. Fought all kinds of matchups. He's fought his grapplers. He's fought his William Gomes string beans. He's fought every kind of style. So give me Brito by finish over Isaac Thompson. I think Team Alpha Male is feeding this kid to the wolves here. Rip to him. That sums up Brandon Royval Manel Cap. Actually, a decent card with some pretty good matchups on it. It's all good. As for me, keep an eye out for notifications. We have a new series dropping real soon, so keep an eye out for notifications, polls, everything. You know where to find me. As always, thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you real soon.